Mahabharata, Chapter 5, Enter Drona. Read by Nirvan Bajaj and Ekveer Bajaj. Ved Vyasa's epic on the Bharat race was first recited in public by his disciple Vaishnampayan at the behest of the ageless seer Vyasa himself. The recital took place in the august presence of King Janamjay, great-grandson of the grandson of Vyasa, and the many learned sages who had assembled for Janamjay's Sarpasatra. The fourth session of our rendering of Vaishnampayan's recital of Vyasa's Mahabharata began with the arrival of Kunti and the Pandavas at Hastinapura, went on to describe the growing animosity of the Kaurav Duryodhan towards his cousins the Pandavas, and ended with Dhritarashtra, the father of Duryodhan, placing all the princes under the tutelage of Kripa. King Janamjay asked Vaishnampayan,
O sage, tell me of Kripa and how he acquired his weapons.
Vaishnampayan answered, O monarch, Kripa and his twin sister Kripi were born in a clump of reed from the seed of Sharadwan, the son of Gautam. One of Shantu's men found the twins and brought them to the palace, where the king reared them as his own children. And later, when Sharadwan, an excellent wielder of weapons himself, learned where the twins were, he came to Shantanu's palace and became Kripa's instructor in the science of weapons. Kripa mastered the skills and in time taught them to the Kauravas, the Pandavas, the Yadavas, and many other princes who came here from other kingdoms. But Bheesma, who wanted only the best of warriors as guru for his grandsons, appointed Drona as their instructor. Janamjay then asked again,
O sage, tell me of Drona and how he gained his skills. How did he come to the land of the Kauravas? Tell me in details.
Vaishnampayan continued. Drona sprang from the seed of the mighty sage Bharadwaj, and he was named Drona because he was born in one. Bharadwaj had imparted the secret of the fiery Agnya missile to the great Rishi Agnivesha himself. The fire-born Rishi in time taught Drona the secret of that missile and many other missiles. Meanwhile, Prishat, the king of northern Panchala and a friend of Bharadwaj, sent his son Drupada to the sage. The boy became Drona's companion in play and as in studies. In due course, Prishat died and Drupada became the king of the Panchalas. Around the same time, Bharadwaj too died, and Drona, now a flawless scholar of the Vedas, married Kripi, the daughter of Sharadwan and the sister of Kripa. In time, a son was born to them, and the moment he was born, he neighed like the celestial steed, Uchasya, and his cry rose to the skies. A voice from the realms above said,
This child shall be known by the name of Ashwatthama.
Then, O monarch, Drona learned that Parashuram, the son of Jamadagni, supreme in learning as in warfare, and the scourge of his enemies, was giving away his acquisitions to deserving Brahmanas. Moved by hope and ambition, Drona set out for Mahandra mountains where the sage dwelt. And when he arrived there and beheld Parashuram, he first prostrated himself before the sage, and then said, I am Drona, a Brahman by birth, and the offspring of sage Bharadwaj, but not of a woman. On hearing these words, the sage asked,
O great Brahman, what do you desire?
Drona replied, I am a suppliant for your immense wealth. Parashuram said,
I have already donated all my gold and land. Now left are my body and my weapons. Choose, Drona. Which one would you have?
And Drona promptly answered, O sage, give me the weapons and the secrets of wielding them. Parashuram assented and gave his weapons and the secrets to Drona. And exulting at the martial wealth in his possession, Drona remembered his old friend Drupada. And going to Panchala, the mighty son of Bharadwaj presented himself before Drupada and said, Know me for your friend. But the chief of the Panchalas, intoxicated by wealth and power, only scowled and said, Oh Brahman, your intelligence seems crude and stunted. How else could you presume to claim me as a friend? You are dim-witted not to know that the great kings can never be friends with luckless, indigent men like you. It is true that long ago we were comrades when we were equal in circumstances. But friendship never endures forever. Time destroys it, anger burns it away. Besides, the friendship we shared once had a particular purpose. Now I am a king, and one who is not a king can never have a king for his friend. Drona, as he listened to the words of Drupada, was filled with rage. Keeping the revelings of the Panchala king in mind, he turned his steps toward Hastinapura and the Kurus. At Hastinapura, Drona, with Kripi and Ashwadhama, lived unknown and unannounced for many years in the house of Kripa, his brother-in-law. And then one day, the princes of Hastinapura came out of the city to play with Danda. While they were playing, the Vita fell into a deep, dry well. They were unable to retrieve it and looked about shamefaced and helpless when they spotted a Brahman. They immediately surrounded him, and the Brahman, who was none other than Drona, said, The descendants of Bharata are lost to recover their Vita. Fie on your Kshatriya valor and fie on your archery. If you promise me food, I will retrieve not only the Vita you lost, but this ring too, which I will now throw into the well. And Drona threw his ring down into the well. Then Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava, said, O Brahman, if Kripa permits, please receive alms from us every day. Drona only smiled and, uprooting a clump of reed, said, I will invest this with the power of weapons by my mantras. Now I will pierce one reed with another, and that with another, and with this the chain thus made take out your Vita. And when Drona brought the Vita out, the princes opened their eyes wide in wonder and said,
O Brahman, please recover your ring as well.
Drona pierced the ring with an arrow from his bow and brought it out of the well, and calmly gave it to the astounded princes. And they said, We salute you, O Brahman. Such prowess is unique. Who are you? What could we do for you? Drona replied, Go to Bheesma and describe me and my actions exactly you have witnessed. He will know me. When Bheesma heard the prince's description, he knew that Brahman ought to be a Drona. Deciding that he could be the best guru for the princes, Bheesma went in person to welcome him and led him to the palace. Then the discerning Bheesma asked the reason for his being there, and Drona replied, O Bheesma, long ago I had gone to Rishi Agnivesha to be instructed in the science of weapons. Drupada, the Panchala prince, my companion in studies right from childhood, was also there. And there he would often please me by saying, O Drona, when I succeed my father to the throne of Panchal, my wealth shall be yours as well. This is a solemn promise. Many years later, Ashwadhama, my son, one day cried for milk. He had seen the rich children drinking it. Some of his playmates tempted my son into drinking a mixture of rice, flour, and water. Fooled into believing that he drank milk, the boy, in all childish innocence, danced joyfully, crying,
I have drunk milk. I have drunk milk.
I was touched to the quick by humiliation. I heard people remark, Shame on Drona, who does not strive to acquire wealth, whose son, thirsting for milk, drinks a mixture of flour and water and yet dances for joy. I was beside myself, O Bheesma. So I took my wife and went full on hope to the king of the Panchalas. Remembering our friendship and his sweetly spoken promises, I went to him with the confidence of a friend. But Drupada cast me off with a scornful laugh as I was the only lowly beggar. I walked out and have now come to the Kurus to obtain virtue's disciples. I wait your command. And Bheesma said to him, let your bow be used to initiate the Kuru princes in the marvels of archery. You are the lord of all the wealth of the Kurus. The Kurus will ever stand by you, O Brahman. Consider your wish as already fulfilled. Indeed, we look upon your arrival here as a blessing, portending good fortune for us. And Bheesma gave Drona a house provided with all comforts and filled with grains and other wealths. And then he entrusted his grandsons to Drona along with rich gifts. Drona joyfully accepted the princes and then said to them, I have a particular aim. Promise me that you will accomplish it when I transform you into expert warriors. While the other Kuru princes remained silent, Arjuna promised to accomplish it, irrespective of what it was, and Drona clasped him to his bosom and shed tears of joy. Then the valorous Drona imparted his knowledge of weapons, both worldly and occult, to the Pandavas. And along with the princes of the neighboring kingdoms, Karna, the foster son of the charioteer, also came to him. And O monarch, when all the disciples were given water pots for procuring drinking water, Ashwadama was given a pot with a wider mouth to enable him to fill it fast and return early. And in that period, Drona would impart special skills to his son. Arjuna knew this, so to keep abreast of the son of his guru, he would invoke the Varuna missile to fill his pot and would return at the same time as Ashwadama. And beholding this steadfast devotion of Arjuna to archery, Drona summoned the cook and told him, don't ever give Arjuna his food in the dark, and don't tell him that I have told you this. A few days later, it so happened that while Arjuna was at dinner, a wind rose and put out the lamp. But Arjuna continued to eat, his hand reaching his mouth by force of habit. And realizing suddenly the potential of habits, Arjuna started practicing with his bow in the dark. Drona heard the twang of bowstring at night and going up to Arjuna, clapped him in affection and said, mark my words, I shall make you unequaled among those who wield the bow. Thus started the lessons for Arjuna in combat and fights on the ground or astride animals or riding a chariot with weapons as diverse as the mace, the spear, the sword and the dart. And as fame of Arjuna's prowess spread, many from far and near flocked to Drona to be instructed. One among them was Ekalvya, the son of Nishad king. Drona, however, in deference to the status of the Kuru princes and aware of the rules of right conduct, did not accept him as his pupil. But Ekalvya paid homage to Drona by touching the Kuru's feet with his head, and then wended his way into the forest. There he made an image of Drona, worshipped it as if it were his guru, and practiced archery before it with unswerving diligence and intense devotion. And before long, because of his exceptional reverence for his guru and his devotion to his goal, he excelled in all the aspects of archery. Then one day the Kuru princes came to that forest on a hunt, followed by their attendants and a dog. The dog, straying from the group, came upon Ekalvya and began to bark loudly. Ekalvya thereupon set 7 arrows in quick succession into the dog's mouth. The gaping dog went running towards the Pandavas, filled with wonder. Those princes scanned the forest for the one who possessed such skills, and they soon found the woodsman at a ceaseless practice. They did not recognize the man of unkempt looks and asked him,
Who are you?
He replied, O valiant men, I am the son of Hiranyadanush, king of the Nishads. I am also a pupil of Drona, perfecting the art of archery. The Pandavas learnt all about him and returning home narrated to Drona the unexpected turn of events in the forest. Arjun pondered for long over Ekalvya's skill and then, in private audience with his well-loved guru, said, "Clasping me to your bosom, you had predicted that you would make me the foremost of your disciples. How is it that another pupil of yours, the son of the Nishad king, is superior to me?" Drona reflected for some time and in a resolute move went to the Nishad king, taking Arjun with him. And there he saw Ekalvya of unkempt appearance and determined will. As soon as Ekalvya saw his guru, he went forward and prostrated himself at his feet. Then joining his hands in reverence, he stood before him, and Drona said,
"O brave one, if you really are my pupil, give me my guru Dakshina."
Gratified at these words, Ekalvya said in reply, "O wise preceptor, I have nothing with me which is not for my great guru. Command me." And Drona said,
"Give me the thumb of your right hand."
At these cruel words of Drona, Ekalvya, who was steadfast in the path of truth, cut off his right thumb and, cheerful as ever, gave it to Drona. After this, the Nishad prince practiced shooting arrows with his forefingers, but never regained his earlier agility. Of Drona's pupils too became experts in the use of mace. These were Duryodhan, the Kaurav, and Bheesma, the Pandav. They were, however, always jealous of each other. Ashwadhama excelled in the knowledge of esoteric weapons, while Nakul and Sahadev were in the forefront of swordsmen. And Yudhishthira surpassed everyone as a charioteer. But Arjun alone was versatile in his skills, in intelligence, in concentration, in strength, in presence of mind, and in devotion to his guru. He was above all others. Thus, though the instructions were the same for all, Arjun left all others behind and became justly famous throughout the land. When the princes had learnt all that was to be taught, Drona, wishing to test their prowess, had a wooden bird placed as a target on top of the tree. Then summoning all the princes to the spot, he said, "Take up your bows and arrows at once and be ready to sever the head of the bird. I shall give you all a chance one by one." Drona chose Yudhishthira to be the first one, saying,
"Take aim and be prepared to shoot your arrow as soon as I give the order."
When Yudhishthira took his stance, Drona asked him,
"Now do you see that bird on top of the tree?"
Yudhishthira replied, "I do." Then Drona asked him again,
"Do you see me, the tree, and your brothers?"
Yudhishthira answered, "Yes, I see you, the tree, my brothers, and the bird, each distinct and clear." Vexed with Yudhishthira's answer, Drona said,
"Stand back, you will not be able to hit the target."
Then Drona put the same question to Duryodhan and the other sons of Dhritarashtra, one after the other, as also to Bheesma and Bhima and the rest of the princes. All of them said that they saw Drona, the tree, their brothers and the bird, and all of them were disqualified. Then Drona said to Arjun with a smile,
"That is the target and you must hit it. Take your stance and let fly the arrows when I give the order."
Arjuna took his stance and Drona asked him,
"Do you see the bird and the tree and me?"
Arjun replied, "I see only the bird and neither the tree nor you." Pleased with his answer, Drona said again,
"If you see the bird, then describe it to me."
Arjun said, "I see only the head of the bird but not its body." Then gladdened the heart of Drona and he gave the order,
"Shoot!"
The arrow flew from Arjuna's bow, hit the head of the wooden bird and brought it down. And Drona held Arjuna close and thought that Drupada was as good as vanquished. After a few days, Drona and his disciples went for a bath in the sacred river Ganga. As Drona entered the stream, a huge crocodile seized him by his thigh. Though he was capable of freeing himself, He called out in apparent alarm.
Slay this monster and save me.
Even as he spoke, Arjuna hit the monster with 5 sharp arrows while the other disciples stood still in shock and confusion. Arjuna's arrow cut the monsters into pieces and Drona was set free. Immensely pleased, he said to Arjuna, "Receive from me the superior and irresistible missile, Brahma Shiras, along with the secrets of how to use it. This weapon is unique in all the 3 worlds. Therefore, you must keep your mind and body in control when you receive it. This is not to be used against any human being. If used on common force, it could set afire the whole universe. You may use it only to kill a foe who is not of the human kind." Arjuna received the great weapon in all humility and vowed that he would abide by the precepts of the Guru. Drona once again said to him, "In this world there will be no one equal to you as an archer. You shall be invincible and famous." So did Drona acquire, select and train disciples who would assist him in avenging the insult of Drupada, his childhood friend. And thus ends the 5th session of our rendering of Vaishampayan's recital of Vyasa's immortal Ityasa, the Mahabharata. Stay tuned of the Mahabharata chapter 6, which is called
Enter Karan.
Please like this video, subscribe to this channel and share. Thank you.